Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm upcycling and upgrading thrifted frames, fabric, and paper. I'll show you how to take this and make it into this. Then we'll make my Pomegranate Sage Cheese Ball. If you're new here, hi, my name is Megan, and if you like thrifting, interior design, DIY, and living your best life on a budget, hit subscribe. This is the picture frame mat that we're going to give a little upgrade. I want to do a little DIY with this. I'm going to give this picture frame mat new life with this paper. Here we go. This is going to be the placement of the cutout. I want to have colors from the whole thing represented, especially to get some yellow in there. So I think if I cut out this part right here, then I'll get some yellow and I'll get a little of the blue in there, some purple. I think the pink will just, yeah, it'll still be on here as well. All right, so I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to place my mat down. I'm going to tape it to the table just for now to make sure that it doesn't move while I'm working on it. So it's the paper is taped and the mat is taped down. Now I like this paper, so I want to keep as much of it as I possibly can. So because I want to keep as much of it as I possibly can, I'm just going to sketch out what I think I need in order to cover the mat, but not lose this whole piece here. Why am I not using a ruler? I don't know that I have one. I also realized I can't find my glue stick, which means I have to stop this and run out and grab one. Okay, so I've drawn that on here. Now I'm just going to cut out this middle piece here. All right, I'm back. It's the next day. I had to go to Walgreens and pick up some glue so that we could finish this project. I've removed the mat. We know where we need to cut, which is in this little square that I've marked off. So I'm trying to cut as close to the lines as possible so that I can keep this part on the inside and use it for something else in the future. Give it a little slice. It's okay if your cuts are a little imperfect, as long as you have enough paper to fold over the mat. It's gonna work out okay in the end. You know, like when you're wrapping a gift for someone and you might have some wonky sized paper, you can kind of cover it when you're wrapping the gift. You can make different folds in a clever way so that they can't really tell that you have some wonky sized or shaped paper. At least I have found that. And maybe they're just distracted by the gift itself. Okay, great. Now I'm going to save this for something. You have enough of your new mat to completely cover the old one. And so I've drawn that line there. You can see our mat is coming together, our new mat. Here's the old mat, here's the new mat, and I'm just going to paste this on top. Let's lay this on top. I'm smoothing it out because I don't know if you've ever laid wallpaper or peel and stick. It feels a little bit like that, where it needs to be finessed just a little bit. And luckily the glue is not so fast drying that I can't play with it a little. Okay. All right, let's see. Okay, looks pretty good. Let's cut right here. I'm just gonna cut to the corner. I'm gonna do this because I'm gonna fold it in on itself so that you can fold back, you can glue it. Ready? I glued the old mat, and I'm folding the paper back. And repeat on all 4 sides. So this is what she'll look like. I'm gonna give it a second to dry. By a second, I mean a few minutes for it to dry, and then I'm going to put her in the frame with the photo. Removing all the innards. I'm going to cut out enough fabric so that I can fold it over on the outside. We have a brief moment of respite while the driller guys are maybe at lunch. I have taken the drop cloth, cut it to size, ironed it so that it's nice and flat, and I am placing the picture frame mat front side down. So this has a little beveled edge on it, so I know that it's the side that I'm going to be looking at when it's in the frame. So I'm going to put that side face down so that I'm looking at what will be the back of the frame. I'm just going to draw a box on the inside. Lightly think that's all I need. I don't want to draw actually the line here because I'm afraid that it will go through the fabric and then it'll show up on the fabric that is actually going to be put on the mat. Now I'm going to cut this X. Okay. Now that I have my X cut out, I'm going to fold each of these just like so. Now we're ready to glue. So I'm just taking the glue and applying it to the mat, and then I'm going to fold the triangle over. I'm going to cut these pieces off. I don't need them. Well, my battery died, but what you missed was me gluing the outside and telling you about how I wanted to go from either side. So I would go like this side, then this side. Just gonna cut off some extra fabric. I don't need this anymore. I'm gonna go in and just tighten up some spots that, for whatever reason, didn't quite take. I'm going to fold this over the fabric. And glue it down. All right, let's get this guy in the frame. I'll show you the finished product. Ignore the drilling outside. You guys know I live in New York and it's constant. We're constantly fixing, upgrading. You know, it's just me constantly fixing, constantly upgrading, constantly DIYing. So speaking of DIYing, this is the fabric I'm going to use for the next project. If you remember, we went to American Thrift in New Jersey and I bought this shower curtain thinking that I was going to use it for my headboard, but surprise, I didn't. I'm going to repurpose a frame and this fabric together to make a brand new thing. I'm going to insert some photos of this restaurant in New York called Maman. My sister and I used to go to Maman when we worked not too far away from each other. This is like years ago now. And we used to go there for these very long lunches, and we'd get their lavender hot chocolate, which was amazing. But I don't think that kickstarted my love of blue and white, but it didn't deter me. I'm removing the inside so that I'm working with just the frame. I'm starting with the outside of the frame. I'm just going to put some hot glue where I'm going to fold the fabric on top of the frame. I'm going to cut the bottom of the fabric here so that there's enough to fold over. Now I'm doing this side next, the opposite side, because I want it as tight as possible between the two sides. I poked a hole through the center, and now I'm just going to cut the fabric. I want to leave enough so that I can fold this fabric from inside of the picture frame. I want to be able to fold it onto the frame just like we did on the outside. Ta-da! It's cute. Very maman. We have another DIY with a thrifted frame. So I got this one at the Habitat for Humanity Restore for $1. I believe it's real gold leafing. It's in pretty good condition, and originally I was going to put this inside, which still looks nice, and maybe I will do it at some point. But for today, I am going to make a new mat for the inside and insert a small photo. I'm gonna show you what my reference was. My inspiration was this frame here. I like the idea of having a really large mat and then a small picture inside. I just think it looks really cool. So I cut my own mat, and this is the little photo that I'm putting inside of it. That's me from back in the day when I used to ride horses. And this is my simple upgrade from a frame that came with no matting, just a back. I made my own mat out of old poster board paper. For this recipe, you're going to need 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter, 10 sage leaves, 1 block of cream cheese, 4 ounces of mascarpone, 6 ounces of sharp cheddar cheese, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, and 1 cup of pomegranate arils or seeds. Just know I mean the red part. I'm just taking the leaves off because the sage leaves need to cook in some butter, so I don't need the stem bits, and I'm just pulling off 10 pieces. Cook them for about a minute, flip them once. The objective here is to get them a little crispy. So this guy is crisping up. Nice and crispy. So I'm just pulling them out of the skillet. That one hopefully will crisp up a little bit more while they're just cooling off here on the paper towel and letting the butter drip off of them. That's a nice crispy one. And then I'm going to save the rest of the butter, which now has a very sagey taste to it. In the bowl of your electric mixer, you're going to add all of the cheese. After the sage has crisped up, I cut mine into littler pieces, and then you add that to the bowl with the cheese in it. and the butter. And the salt. And the pepper. Mix again on low for about a minute. I'm trying not to hold it very long because I'm gonna warm it with my hands just by accident. Mold it as fast as I can into a little ball. You see how because I chopped up the sage, it's all mixed in there really well, which is great. Now I'm gonna put it on this saran wrap, or plastic wrap. I'm gonna wash my hands real quick and then I'm going to wrap it up and put it in the fridge for about a half an hour. So I'm gonna wrap this up. Oh, by the way, I still had some cheese left over. This is the cheddar cheese, and there's still some of the mascarpone left over as well. I showed you guys how to make these beeswax wraps a couple videos ago. I'll link it in case you want to do this DIY. It's super easy, it's economical, it's environmentally friendly, and you can reuse them over and over again. This one I made during that video, so I've only used it a couple of times, and they get better and better the more you use them. You just wash them when you're done and then repeat as needed. All right, back into the fridge, all the cheese. While we wait for the cheese, we're going to take that cup of pomegranates and put them on a paper towel to get as much of the moisture off of them as possible. That way they'll stick to the cheese a bit better. Pat them down. And then they can just hang out here while we're waiting for the cheese. Now that the cheese has been cooling for about a half an hour, we're ready to apply the pomegranates. This process would probably go a lot faster if you divided them up into more than one ball. This cheese ball can last for, I would say, maybe 2 days in the fridge. I think you want to eat it by the third day because of the mascarpone cheese. That is the cheese that might go off. You're just gonna push your pomegranates in. You can go as tight or as loose as you want and try to cover the whole ball. Okay, there she is. We're ready to serve her. There you have it, my pomegranate sage cheese ball and 4 DIYs with thrifted frames, paper, and fabric. I hope that you give at least one of these a try. It's a fun, creative, and easy way to have something truly custom. And if you watched my interior design trends video, you know that bespoke decor is going to be very popular this year. But if you're a DIYer, bespoke decor is already your thing. I know I'm definitely going to try the Maman-inspired one again, but next time I'll cover the frame and the mat to make the printed fabric the showstopper. Next week we'll be in Christmas holiday mode, so I'll be unboxing all of my holiday decor and ornaments, putting up the tree, and maybe doing an easy ornament DIY. If you like this video, please give it a like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications to see more content like this. Thanks for watching. Bye.